Okay, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Oldies but Goodies. And what that title means is you've probably learned a lot of really new tools, a lot of websites, apps, and things like that. I'm trying to focus on things that you're already using and then maybe just digging into them where you haven't found out features of apps that we already use. If you want this presentation, I have the bit.ly, and that'll be on each of the slides in the bottom right corner. To introduce myself, my name is Erica Lawless. I am a EdTech ambassador for Warren County Public Schools. What that means is you apply teachers, digital learning coaches, librarians, anyone certified in the building can apply, and then you become an ambassador for your school, learning and trying out new technologies with the district tech department, and then going back to your school and teaching it to them. So I've been learning about 3D printing, and then I now have a 3D printer in my classroom that I can show other staff members, so really bridging the gap between the tech department for the large district and the school that I'm in. I teach high school Spanish, so that is what I do as a job, and I've been doing that for 6 years. I have a master's in library informatics technology and education from WKU, go Tops. And this is my first time at KAST, so I've been really excited to be here and to present to you all. I presented yesterday as well. And so I want to have a little disclaimer here. All of these topics are related to Google apps and products, so if your school doesn't use Google, this might not be as applicable to you, but I know that Google is probably the majority of users. And if you want to stick around and still hear about things you can use for your personal Google account, you're more than welcome to. And then, once again, since these aren't brand new tips, you might already know some of them. So my goal for you is to hopefully walk away with a couple features that you didn't know about before. If you already know the thing that I'm explaining, you're not going to hurt my feelings by writing a lesson plan or making sure your kids are working on their stuff. I was doing that before this, sending some emails saying, why are you watching YouTube right now? Please do the work. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about are a couple shortcuts in Chrome. So in the browser of Chrome, you can do a couple of cool things. These might be, like I said, familiar, but I'm going to pretend like you don't know them. The first one, which is my lifesaver at all times, is to reopen a tab you accidentally closed. Control-Shift-T, so you can do it right now and see what pops up, your last closed tab. Control-Shift-T reopens any tabs that you closed, and it'll keep reopening each last tab. Another one, if you forget that you have Control-Shift-T, but you remember you need to look at your history, like, what was I doing? What was that website I was looking at yesterday in the morning, and it was I don't remember. What was that presentation from KAST? I had it open, but I forgot to bookmark it. Control-H opens your history, and so you can see the time frame and all of the things that you've opened. And then the last one, I've been doing this for all of the presentations that I've attended this week, is Control-D to add a bookmark, and then putting all of my bookmarks of all the KAST presentations I've attended into one little folder and having it there so I can look back at it later. So these are great Chrome shortcuts: Control-Shift-T, Control-H, and Control-D. There are tons more, like Control-P is to print. Control-O opens a tab. Control-S saves, but these are my favorites that I use often. And then you might already know this as well, but to open any new Google product, so a sheet, slides, forms, docs, sites, anything, you just type in that .new, and then it'll open in a new tab for you. So you don't have to go to your drive, click new, select doc, have it open, go to your browser and write forms.new, you'll get a blank Google form, docs.new, a blank Google doc, and then slides.new with a blank slideshow ready to go. Now I'm going to talk about some features on Gmail that you may or may not know, but that I find to be really helpful. The first one is the undo send feature. Raise your hand if you knew that you can unsend emails. Okay, so I'm going to show you all that here in a second. And then maybe you know this one. This one's a little more common, to schedule send. So if you don't want to have a parent respond to you right away talking about what the kid did in the class, maybe you send it at the end of the day, and then you're like, I'll respond to that tomorrow after I've slept and calmed down. Or, I don't want anyone to know that I'm working at this hour of the night, so I'm going to schedule send this for a normal working hour. And then we're going to talk about different inbox types to help associate best with your style of how you work for your email. And then a couple add-ons within Gmail that really help streamline everything. So the first one is the undo send feature. And so if you go to your settings on your Gmail right now, it'll automatically be set to 5, but you can change it to up to 30 seconds. Why would anyone want it less than 30 seconds? So if you want to go ahead and do it right now, change your undo send feature to 30 seconds instead of 5. And what that does is it'll appear in the bottom corner and you can click undo. If you forgot to attach something or you didn't mean to send it without a subject, you can undo it before it's too late. And if you need more time on a thing, just like say wait and I'll pause so that you can do the things as we're there. Another great thing is schedule send. So anytime that you're formulating an email, so for example, if you want to send a parent conference email but you do not want the response right away, or it's a really late hour and you're like, ooh, I need to send that, you can go down, send your email, this little arrow, click it, schedule send, and then you can decide what time you want to send it. You can have, there are 3 populated suggestions, but you can send date and time too. I use this sometimes when I have like a field trip coming up and I know that I need to fill out the bus transportation form 2 weeks in advance and get the field trip forms to the nurse. So I'll schedule send myself an email for that date. So I'm like, okay, way down the road I need to do this. Now we're going to talk about some inbox types. So the options that if you go to your Gmail settings right now and then under inbox type, they're going to be in this order. The first one is default. Raise your hand if yours is on default right now. Okay. Hopefully by the end of this, I'll convince you that you do not want the default anymore. It makes for more chaos and it just wants you to be angry at your email. All of these other ones are much better in their own ways, I promise. So hopefully at the end you're like, okay, she's convinced me, I'll try this other one. Then we have important first, unread first, starred first, priority inbox, and multiple inboxes. We're going to talk about each of those. The first one is important first. And if for me, mine automatically adds those little arrows. Sorry, this is a really old image. I didn't want to use mine with my current emails. But over time, Gmail gets smart enough to realize like certain emails you get that you open and respond and all of those things. Okay, this is an important person or this is an important email. Unfortunately, mine thinks that every email is important. So this isn't my preferred inbox because then it would just have all of them having the little arrows. So, important first, if you follow the little arrow that it gives you and you're known to uncheck it when things aren't important, that is an option. Unread first. This one is what I've used. I just switched before this presentation to try another one out, so I'm like, okay, I can't be biased. But unread first is what I've used for years because it makes me think that my Gmail is my to-do list. So all of the things that I need to address are at the top, and if I accidentally read it, but I don't want to do anything with it yet, then I'll just click mark as unread, and so when I am ready, all of them are up there. Because what I hate about default, and maybe you feel this too, you get lost because it's sorted by time. So there might be an email from 2 days ago that is down at the bottom that you don't even think about because you missed it and you've gotten all these new ones. Unread first helps because everything's going to stay at the top of your attention. When you're ready to address it, it's right there. Another option is starred first. If you tend to star emails, marking them as important to you, then it'll have those at the top. So whether they're unread or read, if they have a star, they'll stay at the top. This is a preference if you're like, I didn't even know there was a star option, then this one's probably not for you. That's okay. And then priority inbox. This one, you get to decide what your priorities are and what sections. So you will decide the options, which one goes first, if you want unread at the top. So this one's kind of like combining the other ones, and you get to personalize. Similar to that one is the one that I'm trying now, which is multiple inboxes. And what multiple inboxes does is you can kind of personalize. I watched some YouTube videos of other people using multiple inboxes before this, and this is what I have right now. And a guy who worked at Google, he said he got 200 to 300 emails a day working for Google, and so his Gmail would be where he lives a lot. So for me, I'm thinking administrator, counselor, someone who gets a lot of emails. This might be a good inbox for you because you can kind of sort them. And he would sort them kind of the same way. He would have read later, follow up, and action required. And then as soon as the emails would come in, he would put them in one of the three. And then that way, when he wasn't on fire, then he could go to the action required or go to the read later when there was a little bit of time left over. I've been trying this one for the past few days, and mine is just sorted to where it's got unread, then starred, and then everything else. So it's kind of a combined one with unread and starred, and it's fine. I'm not mad at it. So this is great too. What a lot of people with multiple inboxes does when the two appear. I'm too afraid to archive emails, but I'm trying to be better, and I'm going to try it soon, one day. But they move them, they label them into their little sections, and then they archive them. And because they're archived, they're not visible on this side, but they are over there, and you can still search for them. So that's like expert level Gmail, but I'm not quite there yet, but I'm really, really wanting to get there soon. I just hold on to all my little emails, and you never know. I went back before this, and I was like, okay, I guess I can delete 2020 emails. But I kept a couple because I was like, did this really happen? Was this really like what I was sent about? Keep students this far away. Please give mask breaks. All of these things. I was like, I gotta keep this one for the memes because I'm not gonna remember how crazy it was.
What were the three categories that the YouTuber you saw? It was read later, action required.
He said, yeah, read later, action required, and follow up. So anytime that he had sent something out and wasn't hearing a response, he'd keep it in the follow up. So he's like, I'm waiting on a response.
COVID anniversary today.
Today's the COVID anniversary. Maybe that's why I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I was thinking about it. That was my first, I started teaching. So I was student teaching when COVID happened, stopped, couldn't come back, and then just accepted a job on Zoom. And I was like, sounds good. And it has been good, but I was like, I've never even been in this building. Sure, please give me a job. So now, nod your head yes if you have these little things on the right of your Gmail. Hopefully it's not blocked by your district. Okay. So I'm going to talk about these add-ons because they're great. Kind of like what I was talking about, the Google guy living in his Gmail. You can definitely camp out more in your email if you wanted to by having these and not having to open all of these other apps. The only one I'm not going to go into super depth on is contacts, but in short, that one is just you can click on it and add people that you contact regularly. So say maybe people in your department or maybe your principal, and then when you click on their name, it shows all of your conversations. So that would be good to have a few people there so that you could just be like quickly, oh, what did they send to me? Oh, right, this. And then you can easily click a button and it'll start a Google Meet with them. It'll send an email quickly to them. So if you're trying to do that, that's contacts. I haven't used it, so I didn't include it. But I was thinking about lunch after this, so I was like, okay, here's my presentation, here's where I'm going after this. If you click on calendar, you can just click on it and it'll show you. It instantly adds something into your Google Calendar. I have mine set where I have my work email is one, and then I have my life, my personal Gmail, so then I can toggle one of them off or on, and then I can see other things. But this is great if you just really need to quickly add something in your calendar. You get an email that something's happening, but they didn't send you a calendar invite. Let me add this to my calendar so I don't forget to go to this meeting. Then Keep. Has anybody used Google Keep before? Okay. I just say it's basically your digital sticky notes. You don't want to use it like a to-do list. Instead, I came up with big things for y'all. So instead of using it as things you have to do, it's kind of things that need to live there for a little bit longer. So things like phone numbers you need to reference, your copier code, your employee ID when they ask you for that once a year, all of that could go here. And then whatever you would use for a sticky note. Better than Keep for your to-do list and the things you need to do are tasks. So you can do as little or as much as you want with tasks, but this will be your digital to-do list. I watched a teacher, she called it her power list. I can't remember her name, she was on YouTube. She was like, I make on my tasks a power list of 3 things that I really have to do today, and then the other tasks in another section, the things I'd like to do soon. It's like maybe I'll move one over to my power list, but the 3 things I have to do today are gonna go here. So up under tasks where it says power list, you can click the arrow and you can make other sections. So you could do it by class, you could do it by work, personal, anything like that, and then have separate to-do lists where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, different ones, and they go. You can just write what you need to do, or you can add a deadline, and that way it'll appear on your Google Calendar that this thing is due by this day. So like writing a recommendation letter, you probably want to know when you have to do it by. And then I love it because I'll be at home working and I'm like, oh, I have to print this in the morning. I cannot forget to print this. I have no way to remind myself. So I write what I need, how many copies, and then I just link the doc so that when I get to school, I just open that up. When I open my email, it's there and I'm like, okay, print. And then it's also equally as satisfying to click the little check mark when you get things done. And another great thing about tasks, you can decide for them to keep them or you can erase, but it's good to kind of go back and be like, I am getting stuff done during the workday. Look at all these things I've accomplished. Now I'm going to show you some features in Google Slides, but I'm going to show them to you live on a slides presentation. So the 3 that I'm going to cover are first, how you can get captions while presenting in Google Slides. And maybe you've seen that in another presentation. I know I've seen it in another one this week. Slides Timer, which is an extension that's really cool that I'll show you. And then Remote for Slides, another extension to use your phone as your remote. So I'm going to click on this slide. I made this a really beautiful slideshow for y'all. Just kidding. Okay, so to show you closed captions, you get into any slideshow you have, and you press present down in the bottom left corner. Open the options menu. And if you want to follow along, you can do slides.new and try it on your computer right now. Slides.new, go to present, and then you'll have caption preferences. You're going to toggle captions on for English. And now it's going to show you what you are saying while presenting. This is a great accessibility feature if you have students that are hard of hearing or students learning English, EL learners, because they can start to see what you're saying, how it's spelled. But see how if I mix my words together, English Yale learners, that's not what I said. So it's not perfect, but it gets the point across. And I was playing around with it, and I also learned you can change the size too. So we'll go extra large for the kids in the back of the classroom. Now, it's very easy to read and maybe less overwhelming if they're following along. This would be good for a story. I'm waiting for them to get other languages on this, but for now it's just English. And you can move it to the top of the screen as well if you wanted to, if that's less distracting for students. So that's closed captions. I'm going to turn them off just so you're not overwhelmed by the other things I'm showing you at once. Now I'm going to show you how to add the time to your slides. So if you'll notice right here, I have the current time. Well, this is the current time central because my computer thinks it's still in Bowling Green. And I got the extension slides timer. So if you want to get the extension up here, you can manage, add it. It's called slides timer. It has a little hourglass. And you don't have to do anything after it's on. Once it's on, it's always there. And you can insert a text box, type your little greater than, less than symbols, or your carets, I don't know what you want to call them. No spaces, but put time. And then I like to put it in the bottom right corner of my slides so that it helps me remember. Maybe your clock is not visible to all students, or you want to keep track of your time if you've got a limited time. So it's not showing up here because I put spaces, but if you take the spaces away, it will give you the correct current time. I find it distracting to have the seconds showing up, so I sit there and I really try to move it over to where it's only going to show the hour and the minute. Close, but not quite. But the great thing about Google is you only have to do it one time. Almost. Okay, good enough. So then I'll just copy that and I'll put it on each of my slides. Paste, 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 paste. And it's in the same position for all of my slides. You do it once, it's there. The other thing, this same slides timer will show you the current time, or you can use it as a timer to count down or count up. So if you use the carets and do minus, it's going to count down from that number you put. So if I wanted to start a 3-minute timer, I did -3, 3 minutes, 0 seconds. So it's automatically going to count down. This is good if you get really bothered by the YouTube timers, because some of them will just think it's a good idea to have a bomb sound go off when the timer ends. And you're like, why would I ever want, it's called classroom timer, why would I want that sound to go off? Or police sirens, the one with police sirens too. So this is showing a timer, but nothing happens at the end, it just sits at 0. And if you switch slides and go back, it normally restarts, but it looks like it's keeping, so that's fine. But if you exit out, go back in, it'll start back at the current time. The only downside of this is you can't press start. So if you're going to give a minute of instructions, then I would just add a minute to your timer, because when you switch your slide over, or maybe have your instructions on one slide and then say, okay, now get to work, you have 3 minutes, and then it shows up. If you want, instead of a timer, to have a stopwatch, you go and you do a plus. So from 0, that's what I've got going up there, just to see how long it takes them to do something. Maybe it's less stressful if they see the time going up than the time going down. Or if it's nothing to do with the students, you just want to know how long you're spending giving instructions or giving things, you can put it off to the side. They might be like, what's that thing in the corner? Oh, that's just for me. I'm seeing how long this activity takes. So those are options with Slides Timer. Now I'm going to show you how to use Present with Remote. I used to have a clicker, but when my Chromebook is connected to my docking station, when I have two screens, my clicker won't work unless I'm on the current slide. We have e-hall pass, so anytime a kid goes to the bathroom, I have to come to my computer, accept it. Well, then I'd be coming back to the slides, trying to use my clicker, and it wouldn't work because I didn't go back to my slideshow. Or I moved my mouse to my top screen, so it thinks I'm on the top screen. Well, Present with Remote has been the solution for this for me, because no matter if I have two screens or if I have something else pulled up on my screen, I'm still able to manipulate the slideshow from my phone. So it's called Remote for Slides, another Chrome extension. It's got a little yellow circle with controls on it. So you'll get it on the Chrome extension Add It, and then you're also going to get the app on your phone. And it has the same symbol. I put it on my front page so I'm never looking for it. This is what it's going to look like, and then it's just going to say enter code, and you connect. So I'll show you how that works. Once you have the Present with Remote extension on, then the option to Present with Remote is going to appear beside Slideshow. So I'm going to click that. It opens up a new tab, and it always goes back to the first slide. So really you're doing this at the start of class before kids come in. And it's automatically in presentation mode. It's there, but it's like, okay, how do I connect it to my phone? Over here on the right, you're going to see a little arrow. And then it'll say Remote for Slides, Start Remote. If I click Start Remote, it's going to give me a 6-digit code that I enter on my phone. So 495260. I do this before the kids come in, but sometimes if I forget, I'll do it and they don't care. But then it goes away, so I had to be quicker than that. But now, if you join correctly, on your phone, it'll show you the name of the presentation, and then it'll say previous slide and next slide. So then I can just click next, 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 and it's all there. And so I can have any tab pulled up, I can approve a kid's hall pass, I could be across the room, and as long as my phone is connected, it's there. And I just sign in one time because I teach 3 classes in a row for 83 minutes. And so I just sign in the first day, the first class, and then I might have to re-enter the code after lunch or something because I've accidentally closed the app. But this is still here and still existing, the same code for this slideshow. So as long as it's still pulled up on your computer, you can then rejoin really easily. So I just keep this running in the background all day. And then the only issue of this that I found is then I end up putting my phone in random places. And I'm like, okay, where's my phone? I can't control the slides. Where is it?
Is the app on your phone also called Remote for Slides?
Yes.
Or is it something else?
Yes. Maybe it's called just Remote. But it's... No, share.
I was just gonna ask if you stop it, say kids go to lunch, when it comes back, does it start all over again, or?
It will stop where you've stopped.
Okay.
So, I just went out of my phone and I just went to my email and I did all these things. Now I'm gonna go back to the app. It's still there because I still have the slide. The only way it's gonna stop working is if I close out the tab that's connected to it. So if I accidentally close out, then I'm just gonna have to go back in, Present with Remote. It's gonna give me a new code. No, it's the same one.
Does it look the same?
Okay, I'm in.
Does it have the yellow circle on your phone?
Yes. Is it not showing up?
Do you have an Apple or an Android?
I have Apple, but maybe Google. Maybe it's like a special link. I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I've added it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
On the actual, the information that comes up when you download it for the extension, it just keeps saying something about an Android app.
Ooh, okay. I think this is what it is. go to remoteforslides.com, and I'm going to do it with you live in Safari. remoteforslides.com. This is what I did. I made it into an app. It wasn't actually an app, it's just a website. Okay. So, it's a website, but if you didn't know this, you can make any website an app on your home screen. So, in the center bottom, if you have an iPhone, it's a square with an up arrow. You're going to click it. It'll either be like more options, or you'll have the option to click add to home screen. Does everybody see add to home screen? Then I just titled it remote. And it made it into a little app. And so it made a second app because it's not really an app that I found in the App Store. If you need me to help you with that when we're doing like the work time where you're going to do these things in a minute, I'll just come around and I'll help you if you still can't get it. Okay, my only hang up or dislike, complaint, is that you can't do all three of the things that I just showed you in slides. You can only do like 2 of 3 at one time. If I have my remote with slides pulled up, I can also do the captions, but my slides timer doesn't work. See how in the corner it's just the time? Or maybe I don't want to use the present with remote. I really care about having the option to have captions and the timer. Then I can have captions on and my timer still work. I think I don't have a perfect reason, but I feel like it's just that multiple extensions can't be doing the same thing on the same presentation. So, because captions aren't an extension, they're within the slides, you can do them with both of them. But slides timer is an extension and remote for slides is an extension, so doing both at the same time, one's not working. It's not a big pet peeve of mine, like it doesn't bother me to have the little time there and it just says time and then it's not working. It doesn't bother me, but if you're like, okay, I'm gonna use remote for slides and not the timer, you can take that away. But to me, it's like having that in the corner doesn't affect me day to day, so I just keep it if I'm using my remote. Any questions about those? Like I said, I'm happy to show you how to get the remote added to your home screen so that it's easy. Okay. So, that was captions while presenting, slides timer, and remote for slides. Like I said, you can do 2 of the 3 at once. Unfortunately, not all 3. So captions and timer, captions and remote, or just 1 of the 3 at a time. Now with Google Forms, these are really basic things, but if you don't know them, they're kind of good to know. I'm going to show you live. I made this thinking like a librarian or a school technology coordinator could be wanting to know what technology do different grade levels use at home. I'm just curious of like what devices they have. So I whipped this up really quick. If you were sending this home and you wanted to be notified every time someone fills out the form, you click on responses, then more, and you can turn on getting email notifications anytime someone fills out a form. Obviously, if you're using a Google form for a class activity, that's not a good idea because then you'll be flooded. But I used to use a Google form for missing work. So anytime a kid was absent or needed me to grade something, they would have to fill out the form, say their name, what day they were absent, what assignment they did, and then it would email me and say, so, and then I can see, oh, so-and-so did the assignment from last Thursday. I'll go in and grade it. So that would be more of a function in the classroom for this feature, or if you're in a position where you're sending out responses and you want to know when it's responding, or it's like a long living form across the whole year and people are updating you, sending you pictures in for a newsletter. then you could have the email notifications turned on. The other thing that I'm going to show you is how you can customize forms for differentiation. So if I'm using this as a librarian wanting to know what devices students in my school use at home, I'm not going to ask the same questions to kindergartners that I am to 6th graders, or I would hope not, right? And for kindergartners, maybe I want to do images. I want to put a picture of an iPad, a picture of a phone, a picture of a TV, and then they can select the things that they use. But then obviously for 6th graders, I can have an open question section where they tell me, they list how often they do it, or I can get more information. So if you want to differentiate your form, meaning based on an answer, it's going to take them to another section of the form, you have to have multiple sections. So over here, you'll hit add section, and then this will be where you go, okay? So I've got this one. I'm going to move this back up. Okay. Then, once you have multiple sections, you're going to click on more options, and then go to section based on answer, and you'll see these appear. So if I want kindergartners to go to the kindergarten questions, if they select K for their grade, then they will automatically only go to the kindergarten section. They will not answer all of the sections for all of the grades. 1st grade, I want them to go to the 1st grade section. They're all out of order, but that's okay. It says section 3 and section 9. That's only on your end. You could arrange them if you really wanted to. 3rd grade. There we go. Oops, that's 2nd grade. Yeah, maybe it's better if you arrange them, but I did this super quickly. And then 5th grade and 6th grade. Okay, so now if I preview this, I'll show you in a second, but if I preview this, it's going to take me kindergarten to the kindergarten questions where I could put pictures. But I need to go to my sections, and then I need to change one thing so that it still doesn't take them through all of them. After they go to section 3, after kindergarten answers their questions, I'm not going to keep it as the default continue to next section. I'm going to change it to submit form. That way, let's preview. Is it really going to make me do my email? Okay. I'm in kindergarten. Next. Kindergarten questions. I click my option, and then I would submit if it wasn't in preview mode. I didn't have to go through any of the other channels. So if you're using a form across multiple things, or you don't want to have a different form for all of the things, you could just have sections within your form. Then on your responses, you'll have them organized. You can sort them, graph them, all of the things in the Google Sheets when you get those responses. Yes?
2 fun things that you can do with this as well is create a breakout room
Yes.
and an endless loop. So like an April Fool's joke where
Ooh.
just keep sending that to the beginning.
I love that endless loop. That's genius for April Fool's Day coming up. Yes, thank you for saying that. So breakout room is an awesome thing because then they can go to different sections based on where they set it. I've used this before in my class. I teach Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, but oftentimes Spanish 2, when I get new students, they were with the other 3 teachers or me. So I don't know, or at another school for their Spanish 1. So I'm like, I don't know what you know. So I've made a pre-assessment Google form before, and based on, and I would make sections over the topics that I think they should know. I would put, everyone would go through the first few sections, or you could make a section, if they get the answer wrong, then they have to go and watch a video. Make a section with a YouTube video. You could do this for a sub-plan. You could have work that you've been working on, and if they get it right, they move on to a reward. They can play like a game link or something. Or they can move on to harder questions for challenging, differentiation. But then your kids next to them maybe need something a little bit easier, so then you can put more questions similar to that. So if the correct answer, if I'm talking math, the correct answer was 1/3 and they put 1/4, then you could lead them to a picture of it as a pie and say, this is why it was this answer. Click here to go to the next try. Try again on this next question and really map it through. That takes a lot. I haven't tried to see if like Gemini or anything like that could do it. I feel like you could definitely get all of your questions that way, and then you just kind of build it in forms. But that is another way you can use it in the classroom or when you're just gathering information in general. And the great thing about forms, like I said, you could add videos, images, all of these other things, so that, an import question. So maybe you could import your questions right there. I haven't tried that before. Okay. Now we have some Google Classroom stuff. I consider this a bonus because it's Google Classroom, but it is like a new feature within Classroom. So when you have your Google Classroom pulled up, over here where you have Gemini, I'm sure we've all heard about Gemini by the end of this conference if we didn't know it before. You can design things for your classes and then automatically assign them if you want to. So, for example, I needed a choice board I teach like a 30-minute class in the middle of the day, and it's mindfulness. So if I want to build a choice board, or better than that, let's do a choice board for my homeroom class. They're 11th graders, and they're trying to understand life, I guess. Junior year is really hard. So they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. They're trying to get jobs. They have to take the SAT. So let's build something for 11th graders. And we'll say job, skills, and goal setting. It's going to generate some learning objectives for me. And then I have a choice board of things that they can do for that. So they can make a presentation, they can make a SMART goal blueprint, they can make a podcast, all of these things. And then you can export it to Docs right away, or you can assign it in your class. I'm going to export it to Docs. That way I have it everywhere. Then if I don't like this one, I'm just going to change it. But if I was really in a pinch, I could click Add to Class, make it an assignment. It's going to export it to Docs anyway, and it's there. And I can post it. So it's great for I'm not suggesting doing it that quickly and not editing for your actual content level, but maybe like the 30-minute class that you forgot, that's in the middle of the day, my son has to cover my homeroom, what can I put for them? That is an option. Or forward-thinking lesson planning, having those types of things available to you. It can make rubrics, and then as we know, you can attach rubrics. So it can make the rubric for you for the assignment, then you can attach it in Google Classroom with an assignment you already have if you want a new rubric for it and post easily. So that's new-ish feature added to old Google Classroom. Now we have a few minutes, so I'm going to challenge you to do something that's going to be helpful to you. So maybe it's making something, making a quiz in Google Forms and personalizing it with your section based on answer. Maybe it's going to Gmail, making some labels, organizing, choosing your inbox. Or if you want me to show you present with remote, I'm going to walk around and I can help you get that set up on your phone too. Okay? So I'm going to help you out if you need it. Or if you need to get going, I understand too. Does anybody need me to help them with present with remote on their phone?
Yeah.
I was saying, I'll join.
Yeah.
I was like, I can figure it out later. I can read directions,
No,
but
there I am. And you said Safari, right?
Yes.
Not Google.
Well, you could do,
I don't know.